In the aftermath of Ling Han's fierce encounter with Xian Yuan, a shadow of lingering struggle haunted him. The martial intent of Xian Yuan had seeped into his very veins, a silent invader he had battled against for an entire month, resisting its insidious grasp until it finally wore thin. That relentless confrontation had unveiled to him the faintest glimmer of sword heart, the ultimate distillation of martial Dao. But the final step remained elusive, a threshold that might demand days, years, decades, or perhaps a lifetime never to be crossed. Such was the inscrutable nature of cultivation. To cover 90% of one's destined path was often no more than treading the same ground, the last fraction of the journey reserved for those who could align with the natural flow of Dao itself. Now, before him loomed an aura more fearsome than any he had yet faced, the Flea King. Its presence rivaled even the dreaded 15-eyed Corpse King, a magnitude of power that could obliterate Ling Han hundreds of times over with a single exhalation. Yet in this moment, Ling Han was not to engage fully in battle. He only needed to resist the weight of a shattering Void Tear's oppressive aura. Here his tier may have been lower, but the edge of Sword Heart kindled an ember of confidence within him, a glimmer that might allow him to endure the unendurable. "Break free! Emerge, Sword Heart!" he called inwardly, a silent invocation of his inner essence. Still, the final step eluded him, just beyond reach, gnawing at his patience and threatening to drive him mad. A sharp pain tore through him. Blood spurted from his lips as the shattering Void Tear's oppressive presence crushed him with merciless force. Every bone in his body groaned and splintered under the suffocating weight, his frame contorting grotesquely. He stretched 10 meters high, yet his body seemed brittle, fragile, a phantom of himself poised on the brink of death. Then a flash of clarity. Ling Han hastily consumed a drop of indestructible true fluid, and almost immediately his battered body knit itself whole, defying even the colossal aura pressing upon him. But the relief was fleeting. As the elixir's essence dissolved, his form once again began to unravel. Frustration flared. Why had Sword Heart not revealed itself yet? The answer struck him like lightning. He had been rushing the process. Martial arts were not conquered through haste. The natural path of cultivation demanded patience, for truth could never be forced, only welcomed when one was aligned with Dao. He let go of forced pursuit, allowing his mind to settle into stillness, focusing instead on endurance, on resisting the sheer presence that sought to crush him. Bone by bone, bloodied yet unbroken, he stepped forward. His injuries painted him as a demon, risen from countless battles, yet with every stride, his determination blazed hotter than pain. Blood and sweat mingled into a crimson river upon his form, but his gaze was unwavering, a furnace of resolve igniting in his chest. Even without having fully grasped Sword Heart, he relied upon himself, upon sheer will, to withstand the shattering Void Tear's suffocating dominion. Scarred and battered, he advanced, inching closer to the fabled True Dragon's bloodstone. Finally, his fingers brushed its surface. Joy surged, an uncontainable wave that shattered unseen shackles within his being. Sword intent exploded through him, sharp, clear, and infinite. The last step had been taken. In that instant, his spirit and body merged with the Dao, crossing the threshold of Sword Heart. Enlightenment washed over him. Some truths could not be pursued deliberately. They arose naturally, in harmony with the flow of the universe. With newfound mastery, he pressed his hand upon the immense True Dragon's bloodstone. Though massive, it was ensnared effortlessly within the remolded net of his divine sense, a mesh hardened and sharpened by Sword Heart itself. The treasure was secured within the Black Tower, and Ling Han finally allowed himself a breath of relief. The oppressive aura receded. Where before it had crushed him, now it merely whispered against his form. Injuries remained, remnants of his breakthrough, but even the shattering Void Tear's presence now posed little threat. Diamond Body worked its miraculous restoration, knitting shattered bones and torn flesh, leaving him pristine once more. Donning a fresh set of clothes from the Black Tower, he appeared untouched, serene amidst the aftermath of mortal defiance and heavenly pressure. But tranquility was fleeting. From behind jagged crimson stones, 5 youthful figures emerged, eyes alight with malice. Ling Han, absorbed in his recent enlightenment, had neglected his surroundings, failing to sense the imminent danger. Their fury flared at his audacity. One in an embroidered gown barked, "Human, I'm speaking to you!" Ling Han's gaze returned to the present, calm and indifferent. "The true dragon's bloodstone is mine. Why should I hand it to you? Want it? Seek it yourselves. I am in no mood for disturbances." Laughter erupted from the youth in the gown. "How bold! Do you even know who we are?" Ling Han smiled faintly. "I am aware." Pride and surprise mingled on their faces, only to be replaced by irritation as he continued, his words dripping with mischievous derision. Pointing at them individually, he said, "You're a cat, you're a dog, you're a cow, you're a pig, and you're a sheep." The youth in the gown bellowed, crimson with rage. "I am Mo Yuanming, genius of the West Sea Mo royal family." Ling Han nodded smoothly. "Ah, so you are Mo Yuanming," noted Doggo. Another, garbed in purple, snorted and growled. "Enough talk! Kill him and seize the true dragon's bloodstone." "Yes, royal brother Zheng Xinwang," the others chorused, obedient, swift and rigid. Though renowned in the Mo family's younger generation, they paled against the brilliance of Mo Zhengxin, whose bloodline, genius and ascension potential dwarfed theirs. Mo Yuanming and his companions closed in, while Mo Zhengxin stood behind them, hands folded, ready to strike with an almost effortless mastery. The sea-born warrior's pride shone in their eyes. They believed that four working in concert against a mere human was already magnanimous, yet Ling Han's presence, rooted in the deity transformation tier, warned that reckoning was yet to come. A final ultimatum hissed through the tense air. "Last chance. Hand over the true dragon's bloodstone, or die!" Ling Han's voice cut like a sword, sharp and unwavering, the culmination of his journey into Sword Heart, a mortal now bearing the weight of immortal will, ready to face the storm of heaven and sea alike. A tempest of golden light erupted from Ling Han's hand as he formed the ancient seal, his right palm tracing the celestial pattern of the earth. Overturning seal. The air around him shimmered with raw mystical power, radiating in waves that twisted and bent the very essence of space. "I can't be bothered to talk to you fools," he declared, his voice cutting through the charged atmosphere like a sword through silk. Time and again, the ominous presence of that colossal flea loomed in his mind, a creature whose return was imminent, whose power could unsettle even the mightiest of elites. Ling Han did not linger. Though he had awakened the Sword Heart and could now resist the suffocating pressure of shattering Void Tier power, he was no equal to the monstrous Flea King. Even the Lunar King, in his full glory, might find a headache in facing such a being. "Outrageous!" The voices of Mo Yuanming and his companions thundered. Their disdain seethed, for a mere deity transformation tier human dared to raise a hand against them. Weapons of glinting steel and spirit-infused tools were drawn, slashing and thrusting through the air, aimed directly at Ling Han. A thrill surged within him. Sword Heart, the pinnacle of martial comprehension, allowed its master to command the very weapons of the world. Sword Kings, Saber Kings, Fist Kings, all had risen through understanding the heart of martial arts, taking their place upon a throne of mastery where even the tools of war obeyed their will. Ling Han extended his left hand in effortless command, and the weapons clutched by Mo Yuanming and his three companions began to tremble, a subtle hum escaping them as though preparing to leap from their wielder's grasp toward him. Shock painted their faces as they staggered back, desperately holding tight. Could it truly be possible? The weapons, instruments of death and dominance, quivered as if alive, bowing to an unseen sovereign. Ling Han's lips curled in a faint inward sigh. His cultivation of Sword Heart was still in its infancy. Were it perfected, even a thought could have drawn every blade and tool to his side, forming an impervious circle of steel like devoted bodyguards encircling their master. Anticipation warmed him from within. How magnificent it would be to wield the full mastery of Sword Heart. The Sword Heart illumination, the highest path of the sword, promised power beyond measure, to sever all obstacles, even inner demons, earning the honor of illumination in its very name. Mo Zhengxin's voice cut through the tension, cautious and low. "Sword Heart. What of it?" Someone asked. "Impossible. This human is only in the deity transformation tier. How could he have grasped Sword Heart? Even shattering Void Tier elites seldom comprehend Sword Heart. How could he, a mere human, lay claim to it?" Mo Yuanming and his peers whispered among themselves, disbelief etched into every word. In their minds, The heart of martial arts was the dominion of the Shattering Void Tier alone, a realm reserved for a select few. Most could not dream of such mastery. Mo Zhengxin, however, recollected other names. Remember Xu Shu Ran and Zhang Mo who accompanied us? Of course, they replied, reverent and wary. Those guests, though human, had earned the attention of the Sea Emperor himself, their power undeniable despite mortal bloodlines. These two cultivated saber heart and sword heart beyond even what this human has reached. Mo Zhengxin added. A shiver ran down Mo Yuanming and the others. Humans, once considered a lowly race, now stood as paragons in martial comprehension, surpassing even elite seaborn warriors in insight. Bloodlines had gifted the sea race with immense bodies and the blessing of dragon's blood, but human intellect in martial theory carved an edge that raw power could not match. It was a duality of blessing and limitation. Mo Zhengxin's inward sigh faded, replaced by a veneer of cold command. Do not dwell on this. Kill the human. Seize the true dragon's bloodstone. Yes! They roared, converging upon Ling Han once more. Ling Han's left hand glimmered faintly as he continued his private communion with the sword heart, weaving its understanding into his every gesture. With each passing heartbeat, his comprehension deepened, weapons trembling and shifting under the subtle call of his will. Mo Yuanming and his comrades launched their assault a second time. So, what if he grasps sword heart? He is but a human, only a deity transformation tier. Yet their precision faltered. Sword heart now influenced the very weapons in their hands, turning attacks into misfires, blunted by the irresistible pull of Ling Han's emerging mastery. Frustration carved lines of rage into their faces. Without accuracy, how could they maintain the fight? If Ling Han had been a shattering void tier, defeat would have been inevitable. Yet even at his deity transformation tier, he rendered them impotent, exposing the arrogance in their hearts. A scream of exasperation tore from their throats as their blows fell like thunder onto water, shattering none, touching only emptiness. Ling Han's aura remained untouched, calm as a mountain amid a storm. Soon boredom took root. These four were no longer instruments for refinement. They were simply obstacles too weak to advance his understanding. He envisioned greater challenges. Xu Shu Ran, the small sword emperor. Only through their might could his sword heart ascend to true brilliance. His right hand traced the patterns once more, and the golden luminescence of the earth-overturning seal erupted outward. A shockwave tore through the air, sending Mo Yuanming and the three companions sprawling violently. Blood painted the air as they hacked and clawed at the nothingness, injuries piling atop injuries under the assault of a single deity transformation tier cultivator. Mo Zhengxin's face contorted with scorn. Good-for-nothings! You can't even handle a human of this level! Ling Han's lips curled into a subtle smile, eyes meeting Mo Zhengxin's with quiet amusement. And yet, you speak as if you are no good for nothing yourself. I am no good for nothing, Mo Zhengxin replied earnestly, pride in every word. Whether or not you are is proven in action, Ling Han retorted, beckoning with a single finger. Come, let me teach you the truth. Mo Zhengxin's hands transformed, claws of draconic power extending as he stepped forward, the embodiment of the West Sea's mightiest lineage. You wield the heart of martial arts. Yes, controlling all weapons in the world, but can you influence my body, my transformed weapon? Ling Han regarded him steadily. Confidence suits you? Indeed. I am of the Mo family, finest of my generation, 27 years old, 9th layer of heaven tier, only a breath away from shattering void tier. Pride shone in his eyes. Ling Han's smile deepened, serene and knowing. One step, perhaps never crossed in your life. Bloodline gifts the body but shackles the spirit. True accomplishment demands a path walked by your own feet. Words became actions. Mo Zhengxin lunged, claws arcing toward Ling Han's face with lethal precision, a strike that could tear flesh and bone alike. Ling Han extended his hand, diamond body radiating a faint golden glow, and seized the dragon claws with unyielding strength. Immovable as the mountains themselves, shock splintered Mo Yuanming and the three others' gazes. A human had seized dragon claws barehanded, an act defying the natural order, challenging the very law of the heavens. Rage, disbelief, and awe collided in a tempest around them. The battlefield itself shivering in recognition of the mortal who had bent the impossible to his will. Fury, astonishment, and the golden gleam of mastery coalesced. as Ling Han stood, calm and unshaken, the sword heart whispering through him, the earth overturning seal, pulsing like the heartbeat of the world itself.